Have I done something today to cause this headache, and how do I get rid of these headaches without taking Panadol and Nurofen? Hi, I'm Dr. Liam, osteopath here at Melbourne Headache Solutions, and today I'm going to be answering some of the questions that my patients have been asking me in clinic over the last couple of weeks, because chances are if my patients are thinking them, then you two at home are as well. So, have I done something today to cause my headache? Well, that's a great question, and a lot of people actually think that, because when you do get a headache, your first thought is, well, how have I got this headache? And a great thing to do is to keep a headache diary, because sometimes patients are asking, have I had enough water? Have I eaten something? What have I done that day? Have I done an exercise that's hurt my neck? Or have I not done enough exercise? Stuff like that. And the best way to keep track of that is to keep a headache diary. Now, in this headache diary, when you get a headache or after your headache has subsided, when you can think a bit more clearly, then have a think about what you did that day, how much water you had that day, there's certain types of foods that you ate that day, whether it might be sugar, alcohol, chocolate, stuff like that, and then also how much exercise you did that day. Maybe you did an exercise that was too strenuous on your neck, or maybe you didn't do enough exercise, something like that, or maybe you were really stressed that day. And now after a few headache episodes, when you're keeping this diary, then you can start to look back and you can start to devise a few patterns out of them. And then when you've got these patterns, say it might be, well, I only had 6 hours sleep the night before. And after 4 headache episodes, you found that you only had 6 hours sleep instead of your normal 8, and you got a headache, then you know that that's a trigger for you, and then you know that you can try and prevent that in the future. Or it might be that you've had a sugary meal after lunch, you've had a chocolate bar after lunch or something like that, and then at the night time you've got a headache. Now, you might not think about that when you're in your headache, but if you keep a diary and you find a pattern, then you can look back and then you can start to eliminate those headaches. For example, one of my clients that I saw last week and today, she started working from home about 5 weeks ago when all this coronavirus stuff started to happen. And now she'd been going well for a few months, and now she's starting to get these daily headaches at about 3:30. We designed a headache diary for her, and we found out that when she was working in the office, she was walking to work, she was getting up, going to meetings, and then she was walking at lunchtime and then walking home. Now that she's working at home, she wakes up, she makes her coffee, she sits down at her desk, and then she doesn't get up until 5 o'clock. Now, there was a clear pattern there. She has been moving previous to working at home, moving around, getting up, having postural breaks, but now she's stuck in her desk. Now she isn't moving, her neck's probably getting tight while she's sitting down, so now that we know that, she's getting up, and then I saw her today and now she doesn't have a headache this week after having a week of headache 2 weeks ago. So that's just some of the examples that you can do to try and find patterns with your pain and try and help eliminate you from getting headaches. Okay, so I guess the next question that I get asked all the time is, how do I get rid of my headaches without taking Panadol or Nurofen? Now, this is a very hard question to answer because every person is different, and everyone has their secret little things that they try and do. But for me, I suffer headaches. I always get them on sort of the left side of my head, or I used to, but now what I do to try and limit my risk of getting a headache and try and limit how intense my headaches are, every day I make sure that I drink enough water, so usually 3 or 4 litres, depending on how much exercise I've done. I will also do some meditation every couple of days to try and manage my stress levels. I also try and limit how much sugar I eat, and I also limit the amount of caffeine that I drink. So I always limit myself to about 2 coffees, because I know that if I have more than 2, then I'll probably get a headache. And then I also know that if I don't drink enough water, I'll probably get a headache as well. I also try and do 10,000 steps a day, because I know if I don't get my steps up, then I end up just laying on the couch or watching Netflix or something like that. And I know that I get lazy in bad positions, and I also get a headache. For other people like to take magnesium as well, because magnesium can relax the muscles. Also peppermint oil on the temples as well. Yeah, so things like that. Everyone has their different things. Also, another one that I try and use is a heat pack on my neck to try and relax the neck muscles. I do this because for 80% of migraine sufferers and for about 95% of headache type sufferers, it's coming from their neck. So if you can try and relax the muscles in your neck, then that's great. The alternative is to see a practitioner like myself, and what we do is we treat the joints in the neck, the upper 3 joints in the neck, and then quite often for that 95% of people that suffer tension headaches, and for the 80% of people that suffer migraines, then treating the neck gives them really good results and relief from their headaches. Now, I hope that helps. Drop a comment below if you with any tips that you have for other headache sufferers out there that might help them when they're in a headache episode, or if you keep a diary, we'd love to know. Thank you.